music is so universal, and we've seen that with Vava Boom and Suno. There are chartbusters across the globe. We got our team writing in from Spain, and we got the LATAM team saying, hey, we're putting this up. And I'm like, you haven't dubbed it. So it doesn't matter. Music has no language. We don't need to dub it. We're just going to go out with it. And I think that is, it's such a core of how universal the Archies is and how Zoya and Rima have approached it. Because using iconic characters, using timeless Betty, Veronica, and Archies, and friendships, and heartbreak, and then saying, let's pepper this with music, and then you've got a stamp that says it's made in India for the world.
Yeah. You know, that's what I want to ask Ruchika, Shahid, and John about. This is one of those incredible collaborations where you've got a global IP and you adapted it for an Indian audience, made an Indian film out of it. Is this potentially a way to go, even with newer IPs, with more projects? Do you see this as being something that could be exciting? Because traditionally what tends to happen is an American IP will become, we've seen it with Marvel, we've seen it with DC, they'll tend to be American films, they'll be Hollywood films. But you chose to do this, you chose to sort of make an Indian film out of this. Has this been an interesting sort of project, if you like, and do you see yourself doing things like this more often?
Honestly, this is just the beginning. When I see what these folks have created, oh my God, it inspires me to continue down this road. And you mentioned Marvel or DC. I mean, we're the first global IP company to do something like this. And from our perspective, I didn't see it at all as a risk. To me, this was natural. This is what must be, what should be going forward. And this could be done, you know, for the Indian audience, and you could localize it for a Latin American audience eventually, and so on and so forth. So from our perspective, this is really just the first step in many, many more iterations like this. And of course, hopefully, many more iterations with Zoya and Rima and Netflix, hopefully. So.
And I would echo that. I think this is going to open up a lot of other people outside of the industry who are looking and seeing the potential of this. Talent is talent, and there is so much amazing talent sitting in this country, ready to shake up the world. And clearly, Zoya and Rima are the embodiments of that talent, right? But there's, we see this in our comics, we see this in the animation work we do. All of these amazing, young, creative, passionate people that can stand toe to toe with the greatest creators in the world. And there is no doubt that I think this will break open a whole opportunity for a lot of great IPs that are sitting there. But we're sitting in one of the greatest film markets, one of the greatest creative communities in the world. So to adapt for a global stage now, I think is going to be the first of many. But I think we've broken a new paradigm, as John says, with this. And to his credit, to take the risk with their IP, and to you guys to bring it to such fruition. Yeah,
agree. I mean, +1 to what the two of them have said. And while it does open up doors for so many more global franchises coming to India, I think what's essential is for it to be authentic and to come together organically. When you watch the film, the attention to detailing, I mean, I don't think they've touched upon it, and we're constantly going to tease you like when you watch the film, because there's that much in it. But it took a lot of coming together, and I think Archies is going to open the floodgates. And I'm not so sure about the kind of coming together for every IP, but it really needs makers and storytellers and creators to put their finger to it and say, this is it. And this is something that feels local. And this is something that while it does feel local, it will talk globally to everyone. So yeah, I think it's that marriage.
I would just add to Netflix. I mean, this couldn't have existed 10 years ago. Netflix has created a global platform where something can be launched on December 7th here in India and connect instantly to a global audience around the world that can discover it, find it, and they've really shaped a global audience to appreciate global content no matter where it's from. So, I think Netflix is the perfect home for something like this.
100% agree, absolutely.
But Ruchika, can you speak to the fact that, I'm guessing from what you're saying, that Netflix is treating this as a global release. Every film's a global release that's on Netflix, but I know that when it comes to a local Hindi film, typically it needs to break out locally, and then it tends to travel. And I'm not sure how much you market a Hindi language film in other territories. Is this one being treated as a global film that's being marketed just as aggressively in the other markets as well?
Absolutely. Actually, we treat it as our biggest local film, which is why it deserves its place in the sun globally. And I think because Zoya and Rima have nailed it, as in it's India's film going to the world. While it is a global IP and a global franchise, and we're very proud of it. But when The Archies goes to the world, it is made in India. It's made by Zoya Rima. It's presented by Netflix, and we're extremely proud of it. Like it's not a film that you look at and you're like, this is one of those cultural films that's come out of India and it's breaking out. It genuinely talks to a large audience, and I think that was the ambition when it started. But when we watched the film, my God, we were like, we've got to take you to Brazil, and we didn't know how connecting flights operate there. You know, we're Indians. I'm like, how do you get there? Oh, it's 30 hours. Let's do it. So I think we've really done that heavy weightlifting because they gave us the material to feed off that. So
Subbed and dubbed in many more languages.
Many languages, yeah. Many,